I'm going to talk about a super weird anxiety symptom that I had that felt like this really, really strange head rush sensation, and the best way I can describe it is it felt like I was like having a seizure or kind of like losing consciousness. But let's chat about it. So I'll give you a few specific examples of exactly how I felt this symptom and what it felt like and how I knew it was anxiety, or how I know now that it's anxiety. So the first time I ever felt it, I was asleep, actually. And this is what led me down that slippery slope of, is this sleep apnea? Of course, I'm sure you've been there if you've dealt with these sleep symptoms. But the first time I felt it, I was sleeping. And so I woke up from this like dead sleep, and it felt like my eyes were open, I was awake, but I felt like I was like losing consciousness, or like in the process of fainting as I was waking up, if that makes sense. And it was this like very strong head rush sensation, like my head felt like a lot of pressure, and it felt basically like I was like passing out or like losing consciousness. And then that was paired with like confusion, and then just this really strange head rush sensation, almost like vertigo and like confusion. And that was of course followed by like feelings of panic and heart palpitations and stuff like that. Now, the next time I felt it, I was awake. So I literally was like laying in bed, I remember, and I kind of came on like this flood, and I felt that like subtle like impending doom, like something's wrong sort of feeling. And then it was followed by that like whoosh, like head sensation, a little bit of dizziness, a lot of confusion, a lot of almost like if I had to open up my mouth and talk right now, I couldn't. And of course, that's what made me think I was having seizures, and I was Googling seizures for a long time and thinking it was seizures. But it wasn't until, honestly, that was the one symptom that I kind of singled out and was like, yeah, everything's anxiety, but like that, whatever the heck that was not anxiety. And of course, I was going to the emergency room all the time. I had had MRIs, I had seen neurologists, like everybody was telling me like, you're fine, there's nothing going on, you know? But I still in the back of my mind had this singled out as like, I don't know, like if I was hooked up to a machine when that happened, I don't know what they would have seen. And it wasn't until I started actually coaching people through anxiety recovery that I realized like, wow, this happens to pretty much everyone that I've coached, you know, to some degree. So it's actually a very common anxiety symptom. And what happens is when your body is in this constant state of fight or flight, like for myself, I had 24/7 symptoms, and they would be like here, and they would peak, right? And there's my panic or my crazy symptoms like that. And then I was just living at here all the time, right? So if you're having these chronic symptoms, it's 100% normal when it comes to what we're talking about here of having a sensitized nervous system. And what generally happens is this becomes this self-fueling fire, right? So the body is sending these adrenaline rushes, which have very, very real, clearly tangible symptoms. And then that's met with fear of the symptoms. And that's met with Googling and searching and trying to get rid of the symptoms and trying to figure out what's wrong with you, and sending these constant messages of unsafety to the body, right? And that can go on for a very long time. And I know for myself, I threw in a lot of avoidance, and I stopped driving because of the symptoms, and I stopped staying home alone because of the symptoms, and watching my kids because of the symptoms, and taking a shower by myself, and literally everything, because I was so terrified of what's going to happen if I'm alone and this happens, or what's going to happen if XYZ, right? So if this is you, comment and let me know. What are you dealing with the most that's really bewildering you and keeping you kind of stuck in this whole vicious cycle? And next, I want you to go to my bio, watch my free recovery webinar. It's about an hour long, and it's a ton of really good information that you can not only learn about what's happening, but literally start putting steps into place to recover and get your body out of this cycle. Because once you break the cycle, you're good, right? They're just symptoms. When you don't have symptoms, fear, searching, trying to fix it, trying to fight it, avoiding, more symptoms, fear, and it's just this vicious cycle. You break it, you're good. Your body will eventually desensitize. It takes time, but your body will get back to baseline. That's what it's created to do. So anyway, head to my bio and let me know in the comments if you were dealing with this symptom or any other symptoms that you want to hear about, and make sure you're following along for recovery content.